afternoon to all. In fact,
Good
it's
afternoon.
such a pleasure. It's such a pleasure to see all of you. Oh, that's nice. Animesh, Anand, Shipra, that's great. Vaishali, Bhupinder, MK Ray, Manvi, Ranjani. Oh, wow. Manju, Narinder, Margaret. Wow. That's nice. Amazing. Vishal. So even if you are not actually visible in it, it's nice to interact.
Hello,
nice
sir.
to
Good
connect.
afternoon.
That's basically the whole idea. Pradeep, yes.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes,
Good to see your energy.
Love your energy, sir. Love your energy.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Animesh. So that's great. So, I mean, it's a nice platform. In fact, we are connected all across. I think the geographies are as diverse as Mathura, maybe Calcutta, maybe Guwahati, Hyderabad, Mumbai, Delhi, Gurgaon. And I think on some places I might have missed out, but then, we make a complete homogeneous mass of people or select audience who's actually adding a value. So, I mean, so what we'll do is I can understand post lunch normally is a difficult task, actually. I would agree it's a difficult task, but Anand here would definitely say, yes, something better will do. So what we'll do is my format is very simple. We'll be going on to the slide deck also. Sometimes we will be showing you maybe some sort of animated stuff, some sort of video clipping, some sort of activities we'll do. That's how it's all going to be, because I understand and I respect and I value your maturity. Now, the maturity and respect in the sense, it does not have to be very, very technical. But yes, to some extent, functionally, we need to know certain topics. Why? Because from your examination point of view, from your response sheet or assignment point of view, plus to make your foundation slightly more stronger. So that's what it is. So welcome, Janki Raman, in fact, that's right. Okay. So what we'll do is wonderful. So, I mean, you can absolutely feel comfortable and you can just raise your hand and Jasprit, welcome. So what you could do is actually you could just wave out so that we would have a small warm up. So if everyone could actually do this. Can anyone put, yeah, that's nice, Anime. That's great, Anand. That's great. Manju, yes, Janki Raman, wonderful. There are some people who are not on screen, but absolutely fair enough. Oh, that's great, Margaret. Wonderful. But yeah, maza aa gaya. So that's how it is. This is basically the tempo, the zing bang is basically, please understand two things. Whatsoever is the technology, I would appreciate and I would understand tech and touch. ये दोनों चीजों का मिलना जरूरी है. Both these things, the touch is basically the human element and tech is basically we are on a tech format or we are using certain digital tools or collaboration tools, and facilitation and training even online or offline or in a hybrid format definitely calls in for use of multiple sorts of tools so that we can get the best flavor and we can learn and engage and empower people. So that's basically how it is. So what we'll do is now with this, I think some of your names are familiar and most of you all come from different parts of the country, and I'm sure that most of you all are into different vocations, different professions. Kunal, welcome. Amarnath, welcome. I mean, Amarnath, you're my neighbor. I'm in Mumbai, you're in Navi Mumbai. So we're just one screen across,
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Sure, sir.
Yeah, that's nice. Possibly we may have certain occasions of meeting, you never know. So that's how things are going to be. So with that, what we'll do is we'll jump into the slide deck so that we have a small warm up and we understand certain conceptual things. We'll have always my sessions would start with an icebreaker or something, it basically maybe your mind teaser or maybe a brain teaser or whatever you call it. It needs to be there because otherwise it doesn't work that way. Hai na? So with that, what I'll do is I'll just start. Yeah, give me a moment, please. You're able to see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So welcome to you all. Welcome to you all for this first session of facilitation skills. It's a nice and interesting area, a very nice and interesting area actually when you talk about facilitation. Do not worry, it's not going to be too much of theoretical stuff. We are going to have a lot of fun also. Okay. So welcome to you all. We are all glad that you all are here. You know, we are so glad. I mean, that's nice. You know, that rhythm, that swing band is basically a warm welcome. I'm so excited to see all of you all on the screen and would love to meet you all someday in some location whenever we travel or come to the location where we are located. Welcome. We're so glad you're here. Okay. So we do a quick icebreaker activity. Now the instructions are going to be simple. We're going to break the ice so that before we start the session, we need to have something like this. All sessions need to have some sort of a brain teaser or maybe an icebreaker or maybe a storyline or something like that so that we could create a concept and connect. Now the concept of the name of the icebreaker is Star Trek. So it basically takes into the galaxy or it talks to you about a spacecraft and things like that. So fine. I mean, you can see something now. There's some movement here and the word says Star Trek. Okay. You're able to see some sort of something which is going to transport you either from space to Earth or from Earth to space. Okay. So now the instructions are basically you need to have an action orientation. Let's go on to the instructions here. You are in a space station on a mission. You are in a space station on a specific mission. That means you're already in space now. And there is some sort of a malfunction. There is some sort of a malfunction and you are required to connect any three items which you're carrying with you to that, which you're carried with you to the space station and rush back to Earth with the rescue mission team. So we would like to know what they are. So the names of the three essential items collected by you. You all are permitted to be spontaneous and think out of the box. So please understand, you are in a space station. There is a malfunction. You are required to collect any three items which you have got with you and rush with those three things with the rescue mission team back to Earth. It could be anything. Let your answers be spontaneous and think out of the box. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop share and then we'll reshare. So who would like to go first? Anand, would you like to try? Anand Giri, would you like to try? Animesh, yeah. I mean, go ahead. No problem. Please go ahead.
Yes, I will first retrieve the black box, probably which stores all the data.
Okay.
Second, I would go with a oxygen tank, which will at least help me survive till Earth.
Okay.
And I don't know. Third, I cannot guess.
Okay. Wow. Wonderful. Let's all put our hands together and let's give a big applause to Animesh. Wonderful. Well done. Thank you so much. Yes, I think Bhupinder had raised his hand. Bhupinder, go ahead.
I will take my logbook.
Okay.
And I'll wear my suit.
Okay.
And the third thing, I don't know.
Okay. So well done. I mean, let's all applaud for Bhupinder. Anyone else would like to try? Namrata, Jasprit, Pradeep, Dr. Shipra, Sukrit, Amarnath,
mentioned. Sir, I just thought of the two things which Animesh has already mentioned, the oxygen cylinder and the black box for the data information.
Okay.
I had these two thoughts. Yes.
Absolutely. Nothing to worry. Okay. Wonderful, Dr. Shipra.
Sir, first always has to be a protective gear, and second definitely going to be the specimen for which I'm there. Probably
Accepted and endorsed. Definitely. Yes, Sukrit ji.
Yeah, it will be my medicines, my spectacles, and probably my bag, which I carry all the essentials.
Okay. Medicines and spectacles at the back. Wonderful. So that's nice. Anyone else would like to try? Kunal, Narinder, Vishal, Manvi,
I will take the keys of my house, sir. I will take the keys of my house.
Keys of your house. Okay.
And selfie camera.
But Arun, why are you carrying the keys of your house to the space station actually? That's okay. That's okay. Absolutely. Nothing to worry.
Just breathe this time.
Yeah, just breathe. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I would like
Kavita coming in next year.
Oxygen with me and something to eat and drink.
Oh, wow. You're going to carry something from the space station back to the Earth for eating and drinking. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. That's nice. Kavita, come in. Yeah, Kavita, go.
But I would like to take back my food packets that I have collected all the way.
Okay.
So that it could help me on the way.
That means you've done some cooking on the space station. Or maybe there must have been something. Okay, wonderful. There must be something happening there. Great. Wonderful, Kavita. Thank you so much. We have Sachin. Sachin, go ahead.
Sir, I'll take my yoga mat, one book, and my mobile phone.
Okay. Mobile is going to, you got a satellite-based mobile?
Whatever it is available and
Okay,
whatever will
okay,
work over
okay.
there.
Communication. Very
Right.
good. Wonderful, wonderful. Anyone, we can have one more. Kunal, would you like to go? Kunal Nikale.
Yeah, I would have first of all it would be oxygen and
Okay.
first of all it would be oxygen and some safety kits as well.
Okay, safety kit and things like that. Okay, wonderful. So you all are done. Wonderful. This is just basically to break the ice, to get into the tempo, just to see that you all are active, slightly active in the sense, khana khane ke mein jara susti aa jati hai, you become tired, you become lazy, you become, so just to get you out of that mood, I had to put this. Let's go on back to the, yes. You all are on the screen now?
Yes, sir.
Sir, if this
Okay. Okay.
space station is on some Vesa planet, probably if you found a Martian, because you said think out of the box. So probably
Okay.
the first thing is going to be other than that. So the Martian.
Okay, wonderful. Wonderful. People who observed, people who have seen, people who are allowed to contribute 500 marks to each of you. I mean, this makes you feel high, it makes you feel nice. It makes you feel rejuvenated when you're getting marks. So something like this, you should learn to copy and put into your training programs and facilitation programs, because it makes a lot of difference. It makes absolutely a lot of difference. Some activity, some sort of clapping, or maybe some sort of marks. Actually, it may not add individual value, but the thrill of seeing this on the screen makes the participants feel very nice. That would be for your teams or for your groups or for your audience or for your students. I mean, this applies all across. So now this is basically the module. I mean, when you talk about the module, we have spoken about, I think all of you all have received that booklet, this wonderful booklet, which has been, curated specially for this subject. So now these are the certain things which are captured from that book for the module 1. I mean, we are going to follow the system so that it's going to be very easy. We will discuss also, please do not worry. So we're going to talk about training methods. We're going to talk about the delivery approaches. We're going to talk about the advantages and disadvantages. We're going to talk about knowing your client. We're going to talk about what is facilitation actually all about. What is the role of a facilitator? What is individual learning facilitation? Types of facilitation techniques, common learning methods, advantages and disadvantages, training needs and identifying them. Now, many of these topics are very common to you, are known to you. There will be different faculty members, different subjects which are also looped. Certain things are going to be repetition, but it would help supplement and complement and make the concept or the area or the topic more stronger for you to work upon or to deal with. So that's basically how we're going to look at these outcomes. So let us understand the first concept. I've tried to put in as simple as possible. What is training? When you talk about training, it's nothing but a simple process of developing learners. When you talk about learners, they could be adults, they could be children, they could be teenagers, it could be anything. It could be behavioral training, it could be soft skill training, it could be process training, it could be hard trainings or technical training, absolutely any sort of training where we are going to develop learners. What is the purpose of training? Purpose of training is very simple: to enhance, to boost, to develop, to encourage, transfer of knowledge, transfer of skills, improvement of attitude, improvement of abilities. That's basically the purpose of a training. Any sort of a training has got focus on knowledge, skills, attitudes and abilities. Employees, it could be learners, employees, groups, maybe an open house, maybe teams, maybe a society, maybe a community, maybe a school, maybe a college. It could be anything where you learn, where you'll engage certain tasks, certain activities, certain standard operating procedures to sensitize, help, make them develop and improve their performance. Performance is premium because the purpose of training needs to have one concept very clear, friends. Facilitation is also part of training. You need to have some sort of an agenda where performance and productivity is going to be at its peak. So knowledge, skills, competencies, abilities, attitudes. So now anyone would like to tell what is the difference between a skill and a competency? Anyone would like to try?
So skill is a part of a competency, just like attitude and knowledge.
Okay. Anything else? That's nice. That's nice. What is the competency?
So skills is something which we require to do something in a different way, and
Okay.
competency is something that that how much we are able to do that.
Wonderful, wonderful. So I think with both your inputs, I think I could combine and make a small submission. Competencies could be relating to skills with behavior, where you're tending to improve your behavior. You're using skills in a specific manner, in a specific level of enhancement where you're going to perform better. So that's basically how it's going to be. And return on investment is very important. We're going to spend man hours. I'm not being gender sensitive. When you talk about man hours, we're talking about hours which we put, or we are going to engage people in 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours, 2 days, 10 days, whatever the module is going to be on. So in terms of time, in terms of effort, and in terms of money, which needs to be validated, because people who are going to be on training or on facilitation assignments as a participant, as a learner, are going to be away from their main task if at work. So what's going to happen to that? Either someone else is working, or maybe that task is going to wait for some time till the time the person has finished his training or things like that. So you have got to calculate the return on investment. Very important. Time, efforts, and money, which needs to be validated absolutely. So now we'll see this KSA acronym. Please understand, friends, wherever possible, I try to give the source because it helps you to get into more details. Okay. So of course, now you've got the best thing coming in, Chat GPT. So you'll be able to get a lot of more details. When you want anything, you ask Chat GPT and you'll be able to get a lot of things. In fact, I also picked up a lot of stuff from them very recently. So we're going to talk about two concepts here. When you talk about the acronym KSA, one says it is knowledge, skills, and abilities. The other says it is knowledge, skill, and attitude. So either way, both are important to be considered when you're talking about training or facilitation, because it's basically a triangle or 3 dimensions, basically talking about boosting someone's performance, boosting someone's productivity, something to be more successful, something to be more better than you were before the training or before the facilitation. So this is a concept which you'll need to understand, sensitize throughout, because there's a lot of things happening, a lot of knowledge, a lot of skills, a lot of abilities, a lot of attitude change, which is required so that the employee or the learner or the participant is able to deliver better. So now when you talk about training delivery approaches, there are multiple things which come into the mind. The most important thing is the face-to-face training. Face-to-face training is when you're doing about in-person training, whether it is 1 or 3 or 5 or maybe even a classroom. When it is face-to-face, this training is definitely much better because it enables dialogue. Dialogue is talking, discussing, deliberating, collaborating, asking for opinion, asking for difference of opinion whatsoever. It could be maybe even a debate or maybe even a conversation which will create some element of conflict. Wonderful, absolutely welcome. So if there is dialogue, there is going to be some sort of a stimulation in learning. Your viewpoint, my viewpoint, multiple viewpoints will help the trainer or facilitator to moderate or give a debrief. So that's what is very important. The most important part is the dialogue. Second is the human connect or the human contact. When you talk about this, I told you earlier before we went on to this slide deck, the tech and the touch. So here the touch is missing at the moment, except for my voice you can experience, but human contact is very important. The human connect. If I can see you, if I can observe you, if you can hear me, if you can listen to me, if you can understand me, if I can comprehend you, all those things are going to be part of the connect, which promotes cohesion, cohesion of thoughts, cohesion of ideas, cohesion of different things which are promulgated to do something better. The third area is involvement. How much of involvement, how much of things can I get you to do across the screen or across the platform? Or when you talk about the platform, I'm talking about the learning platform, whatsoever we are using, whether it is in person, hybrid, virtual, remote, whatever, the amount of involvement, the activity, the tools which we're going to use.
Excuse me, sir.
Sharing of experiences and comparing yourself with others. Element of competition would be there. Appreciation, training is offered to help the learner and paid for by the employer. We need to understand that training. Now, most of the time, my friends in multiple locations, they say, "Arey, bada maza aaya. I enjoyed the training, good food, good AC, good environment."
Jasprit, this side. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Can
Jasprit, please tell. Yes.
Sir, I'm a slow learner. Can you speak little slow because I'm not able to, correlate what I'm seeing, what I'm listening, and I'm not getting. So please.
Sure, Jasprit. Anyone else would like to? I mean, is the rhythm too fast? Is the rhythm slow, or is it fair enough? I mean, I can slightly change. There's no problem.
It's too fast, actually, sir.
It's a little faster, yes.
Okay, no worries, no worries, no worries, no worries.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Okay, sure.
You are in a high energy level, sir. So
Okay, thank you.
Can little reduce.
Okay, so you all understood the concept of the word dialogue, the human connect, involvement, and appreciation. Now we go on to the next slide because this is self-explanatory. Off-the-job training. When you talk about off-the-job training, it's nothing but being in an area which is close to your office, close to your workplace, close to the premises where you actually work, whatever location it will be, something close, maybe a hotel, maybe an auditorium, maybe a training facility. This is a location specific which needs to be close by or at a distance. Now, why is this required? If you're off the job, you will be able to minimize the distractions. Why? You'll be able to minimize distractions because when you're on the job, you are in the same premise. You see your boss walking through or someone requires you, they would love to call you and ask you to help. So rather than have a distraction, it's always better to have an off-the-job training which is away from your workplace so that no one will be able to ask you to help out if there is a problem. They will manage. Like you're managing the training, they will also manage without you to manage with the task or the activities. Allow trainers to devote full attention. When things are away and you're focusing only on your training in a different area, it actually helps you to give a lot of attention, concentrate well on the training. Now, examples of the job training would be lectures. Lectures is normally your lectures which happen in school, college, auditorium, someone talking, maybe a monologue, maybe a huge audience, maybe 10 people, 20 people, 30 people, or maybe a huge, something like a town hall. So that could be also a lecture where the impact, the voice, the tone, the pitch would be very important. An audiovisual session, when you talk about an audiovisual session, something to do with hearing and something to do with seeing, maybe a video clip, maybe some sort of a film, maybe some sort of a movie, maybe some sort of a documentary. When this happens audiovisually, there is a lot of engagement, there is a lot of thought, there is a lot of development which you can do. We're talking about a simulation. What is simulation? Simulation is near actuals, but not the actuals. Most of you all must have gone to malls. When you go to malls and when the children play around on those video games or those, those crazy cars and those crazy things which make them a pilot or maybe a car driver or maybe some sort of an adventure or something like that. So that is actually a simulation where the feeling for that child or the feeling for that adult would be, I'm sitting in a car, I'm driving, but you're actually not driving, but the other momentums make you feel that. Or you feel you're flying the aircraft, but you're not actually flying. So that is a simulation which actually helps you to do that. Even some motor car training companies, you know, when you learn driving and all those things, they also have started the simulation patterns, which is slightly cheaper and it makes you less prone to accidents if you familiarize with the simulation model first and then go on to the actual hands-on module. Vestibule training is basically where you have all the effects, all the controls. It is slightly an extended or a hybrid version of the simulation, where in the vestibule you are able to enhance with a lot of support, technical support, where you're able to do some sort of a training just before you start the actuals. Case studies are the best form of training. You could have case studies related to the concept, related to the function, related to the organization, or maybe some sort of wonderful curated case studies which you can pick up. May not be related to your industry, may not be related to your domain, but related to the function. Like, for example, when you talk about function, customer service is a function, sales is a function, project management is a function. So if I'm going to work in Toyota, it is not necessary that my boss does a case study of Mahindra or maybe something like that. It can be very remote. It could be of maybe Hindustan River or Godrej or Tata or whatever. As far as the concept functionally accepts, the case study, the involvement, the engagement, the responses, the viewpoint, and finally, what best came through this complete case study would give the way forward for development for the trainees. Role play, another wonderful area.
Just
Role
please decide, sir. Sir, can I ask some question?
Yeah, please. Sure.
Sir, can you just elaborate more on vestibule simulation and demonstration? I have a little confusion on that.
Simulation is slightly, on a lower level in the sense where you have the basic levels. Vestibule is more focused. Like, for example, when a person is doing they do the simulation and vestibule training for the aircraft pilots and things like that. So you have a more advanced version where you are given more of autonomy, more of external command, and more of directions, and you actually do it before you take on. You may have an instructor with you, or you may have a pilot trainer with you, something like that, when you're almost on the verge.
So this airport wala, airplane wala thing will goes to vestibule or simulation?
Aircraft means all pilots will go through this vestibule training.
Okay, and can you state one example for simulation?
Stimulation is anything, any of your video games which you're doing in the malls, they could be part of stimulation.
Okay.
Where your children are playing in that video wala facility, which is normally on the topmost floor. It could be maybe car games or something like that, or they're playing with different sort of gadgets and all. You have a lot of lights and noise and all those things happening.
So simulation will always be like using this new technology?
Not necessarily only the mall. It could be even some amount of simulation could happen even on ground at the, when you learn how to drive a car, or maybe a sort of a flight school or something like that, when you're doing the elementary sort of training.
Okay, so you are saying vestibule is advanced simulation, right?
Yes,
that
yes.
I can conclude?
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. Oh, wow, that's nice. Yatinder has put in a comment, road safety training, wonderful. So can I go back to the slide? Yes. So yes, we were somewhere here. We spoke about role plays, talking about role plays. Two things in a role play are very important. What are the two things? How do you operate in a role play? What is the best way of doing a role play? Anyone would like to answer?
So defining the role play before the play, in fact, like what it is, what are the characters, and everything. Explaining it completely.
Okay.
So
what
that's
else?
Type of moment. It's like giving a situation to the trainers.
Okay.
And then moderating it also, sir. Like during
the best role plays are one where the roles could be reversed. Like, for example, you're the trainer, I'm the trainee. In the next round, I become the trainer and you become the trainee. So actually getting into your shoes, or me getting into your shoes in a different angle, the scope of a role play would be more enhanced. Then you have different management games. You could use some amount of games where there is tech enablement or something which is related to your task or related to your activity, where the trainer ideally should be from a similar domain or is able to, you know, create a purpose of value and some sort of improvement and enhancement in your performance. So that's basically what management games are all about. So some specific details are required, some specific concepts or some specific activities or some specific worksheets or some specific scenarios or hands-on things would be required where you'll be able to improvise using a management game. Then you have the programmed instructions. What is programmed instructions? Anything where you have a specific level of instructions which are programmed, which follows a specific process, which follows specific steps, or which moves on to a phase. One phase followed by another phase, followed by the next phase. So you can only go into the next phase when one phase is completed. So project management would be an ideal area where you can have programmed instruction. Till the time you do not complete phase one, you will not be permitted to go on to the second phase or the phase subsequently. So the time, the effort, the manpower, the completion, all those things are important, and you'll be able to follow instructions and go beyond.
Sir, are you talking about SOPs as well?
SOPs could be part of that. SOPs could be part of your programmed instructions, yes.
So, sir, in-basket exercise will fall under the simulation category or not?
If you are using some sort of a technical loop, then it could come under simulations. Otherwise, it will come under management games.
Okay, sir, can you elaborate more on that, how it can fall under the simulation category? What I need to do for the same?
I didn't get you. You said, how will you use it technical? How will you use it technically?
No, sir, I was asking that in basket exercise can be categorized as simulation. You said that I need to do something particular. What was that?
If you are using certain controls under dashboard and things like that, the simulation could be used for an in-basket exercise. If you're doing it normally, it would work on a management game. You could use hands-on, like what I've been doing. For example, many years back, we never had those softwares and all those things applicable. We did it by hand. So whatever things were moving or whatever we are doing, it was all hands-on. And what y'all are doing is more on a system-based or more on a dashboard where you'll align certain tasks or certain activities and then go beyond.
Got it, sir. Thank you.
Okay. On-the-job training. I mean, this is one of the most interesting and one of the best, and sometimes it's the most exploited training. It's sometimes the most exploited training because many years back, on-the-job training meant a certain specific days, certain specific hours, in fact, certain specific seasons. But now the thing is on-the-job training where you talk about, where you can connect with the world, maybe interns and things like that has been happening throughout the year. So there has been some amount of exploitation also from the industry level and from the institution level because more of colleges, more of on-the-job training required, more of internships being done, more of industry immersions being done. So sometimes it is more of a challenge. Like for example, it's nice that the concept of, someone has heard of NEEM, N-E-E-M, N-E-E-M.
No, sir.
No,
Okay.
sir.
NEEM program, yes, sir.
Yes, I'll wait for you. If someone would like to answer.
Sir, National Employment Enhancement Mission.
Yes. This was basically a program where industries flex their muscles and exploited youngsters for months and days, sending everything for a toss, whether it is working hours, safety regulations, many things, even payments and all that things. And now it has been discontinued. Of recent, the ministry has given permission to stop that process of NEEM because a lot of people are exploited on the name of on-the-job training, or they used to call it NEEM-based training. It was nothing but an extension of the apprenticeship which worked for so many years, but now it's no longer there. So sometimes people actually exploit. They don't. They may not give you stipend. They may not give you the right facilities. They may overwork you just because they say कि तुमको करना जरूरी है. So certain things would work on those system. So use the existing people, the environment, tools, and the skill training available at the workplace to train the employees to do their jobs on the job. The job instruction training, where you are actually having a buddy or a mentor or someone to program you, to instruct you, to correct you, to improvise you. Okay, so that would happen. Then just in time would be there. Besides the JIT, this just in time also is where you are taught to work on the correct procedures and skills in a specific time frame, because most of the activities which we do these days have a specific time limit. Coaching and mentoring. When you talk about coaching and mentoring, what exactly is coaching? Anyone knows what is coaching? How do you differentiate it between mentoring, coaching, and
about
mentoring?
the procedure actually. During on-the-job training, we are explaining the procedure to the candidate.
Okay.
Yeah.
So coaching is more, from a short-term perspective, a specific project or an assignment in hand. So someone senior with more experience guiding you through that.
Okay.
And mentoring has got to do, the scope of it is much larger, where you're looking at the entire, professional and personal development, career in a long range, long term.
I think in coaching, you are actually giving instruction, teaching the person how to
More
do
specialized? Who's more specialized, a coach or a mentor?
The mentor would also be taking responsibility of the results. So I think the mentor would be more, he is more accountable, so he'll be more specialized.
In fact, it's slightly confusing at times. Many a times coaches are mentors and mentors are coaches and things like that. But then one interesting element which I saw when you're talking about coaching and mentoring is coaching is more role specific or domain specific, or maybe functionality slightly more, like you have a sports coach, or maybe a swimming coach, or maybe a fitness coach, or maybe a racing coach, or something like that. So where it was slightly more focused, mentor would be slightly more they would be there to develop you, correct you, improvise you, bring you to the next level, handhold you, and then withdraw. Even if he or she is not your even if he or she is not your junior. But one interesting concept again in mentoring was something which I also done, is the reverse mentoring, where I was lucky enough to have someone young, just like you. Some of you are very young, to learn some skills from you. So at that time, the level, the job role, and all those things went for a different explanation altogether, because I had to get those skills and I had to go to a person, an employee who's very junior, but who was a master of that specific skill. So something like that also happens. So we need to be very focused. So that would be how we can classify. Of course, the debate could continue on and on, but there is very little difference actually. Many of them are coaches and mentors. Job rotation. Now, this is basically a old terminology of the HR, where they try to rotate you into related jobs or something interesting and something.
Sir, can you please elaborate a little more on just in time?
Just in time is a Japanese concept where you focus on tasks and activities, and basically, you're given a specific mechanism or certain tools or certain instructions to complete the task with minimum of wastage, more focus on quality. So that's how just in time is all about. And you're able to complete. So Toyota.
It's more like lean management?
Lean management has some connect with because both are Japanese. Yes. It basically to reduce waste and promote more of quality and promote more of enhanced productivity and things like that.
Okay, thank you.
How to Lean Six Sigma type of activity?
Sir, actually, it is a part of lean manufacturing.
Yes, yes, there are certain correlations with reducing of enhancing of quality and reducing of waste and using the correct procedures. In fact, people tell that in the manufacturing, when you're talking about the assembly line work, which happens in Japan, minimum amount of supervision is required. Minimum amount of supervision is required, and it goes from loop to loop in a very structured and a very organized manner. Very unlike India, where you have someone breathing down your neck, asking you to improve, asking you to change, asking you to modify, asking you to be more particular, asking you to be more focused. Of course, now things are changing, But Japanese people have more of a structured scientific approach where people know what they do, what their competencies are, what their expectations are, what their deliverables are. And I'm told, I'm not sure as of now whether it is continuing. In case you do a mistake, or there is some sort of a flaw in your production line, you may be withdrawn from that position and you're eligible for a demotion. You're eligible for a demotion. You may not be considered for the next level, which may not exactly happen in German companies or British companies, or even across US and things like that. They're slightly more accommodating. They'll give an opportunity and things like that. But Japan is more focused when you talk about these things. So going back to sharing of the screen, apprenticeship training. This is one of the best actually. Now people must have seen or heard of the concept Be Woke. I mean, this Be Woke, Bachelor of Vocational Education in multiple domains, whether it is food processing, or it is, automobile technology, or it is beauty parlor, or it is tourism, multiple areas where apprenticeship to some extent has been made compulsory, and industry immersion has been made compulsory for weeks together. Earlier, it was one format. Apprenticeship training was maybe 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, and it is to be enabled only through a proper vocational training provider. But now things are slightly different. It has gone on to the weekly formats, monthly formats, and assessments are on a very programmed manner. 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and then you join maybe the 4th year if there is a specialization, and then you go on and join the work. So that sort of things are possible. Committee assignments. When you talk about committee assignments is basically a lateral sort of a reporting where you have more than one boss, maybe from different functional areas, who would actually tune you to work on the job in different areas or in different systems related to your job. Like, for example, an HR generalist. So when you talk about HR generalist, there was nothing like the word HR generalist during the olden days. This concept has started picking up more. Or an HR, human resource business partner. So you give a committee assignment where you have different committee members who are specialists from the legal background, HR background, compensation background, maybe the L&D background, to give you a feel of different areas or different sections of that specific function HR. And then gradually you would be, weaned off from the other 3 or 4 areas, and concentration would be there on the area of your choice or where you're going to excel. Co-worker training. This happens actually more in the communist areas where you're actually encouraged to work with the workers who actually work with you, who develop with you, who support you, who correct you, and things like that. Internships are known to you. I mean, we could have online internships or we could have offline internships. Multiple types of internships are possible. Thanks to COVID, we had so many online internships with the college students could do. Distance learning. Now, distance learning is another area. It's a remote education where the learner is not physically present for the lesson, but it's booming actually. You have these MOOCs and you have those various formats available now, in synchronous mode or in asynchronous mode, or maybe in the MOOC mode, or in using an LMS where you could use the internet. There would be a lot of flexibility. Access would be easier. It would be more cost effective. And this is very popular in the sense, the concepts which are very popular or the pedagogies which work with this is the video conferencing, the synchronous mode and the asynchronous mode. Now, both the modes are available. Now, what we are doing at the moment is a synchronous mode because you all are connected to me live. So the moment this is converted into a form of a video and shared as a link, and some of our colleagues or you all also would like to be part of this at some point of time or someday in the future beyond the schedule, then that would be asynchronous. Open schedule. It could be a schedule where you have a format where you're giving encouragement to the learner or participant to create a schedule and to connect with the tutor or maybe the instructor or the demonstrator and learn online. Computer lab based, where you have a specific lab. You would go to a facility and that has got certain provisions to connect you with the use of a username and a passcode. You'll be able to join the class or do certain assignments and things like that. Fixed time online. So you have certain, this would relate to different timings when you're online, when the thing is active. And hybrid learning. What is hybrid learning? Hybrid learning is basically where you have a concept of online and offline combined. You'll be able to work on both the formats together. Maybe we're going to meet in class tomorrow. We do an online session today and then we meet tomorrow in a class. People who are available can do that. So maybe an assignment or maybe some sort of a pre-work or some sort of a table work can be given online, and that could be completed, moderated and assigned some marks or assessments gradually when we meet offline. Online study. Now, this is a concept related to the distance learning. It includes e-learning and online learning. What is the difference between online learning and e-learning? What is e-learning and what is online learning?
Sir, online learning is the classroom training that is done online. What exactly now we are doing?
Okay.
E-learning is nothing but LMS.
Okay.
Yes.
Reading on
Yes,
your
sir.
own and learning the module as per your
Wonderful,
choice.
wonderful, wonderful. So, you know, अरे बच्चों को तो सब कुछ आता है. So, you're going to get good marks. That's nice. That's
So,
nice.
like
Good.
online is going on right now, but in
Yes.
LMS, I have this flexibility to, log in at my own
Convenience.
discretion.
You'll be able to open the link or see the video or see the session
Whereas
at your
in-
convenience. So that's great. That's great. Wonderful, wonderful. So you'll be, I mean, the main elements would be physical separation of teachers and learners during the instruction, because you are available geographies across, topographies across, distance across. Various technologies will be there to enable you to connect. Examples of people who provide or agencies which are providing is Udemy, Coursera, edX, Pluralsight, and so many more, you know. I hear and I forget. I see and I remember. I do and I understand. This is the normal concept followed by all across in the field of training and facilitation. Who is our client or customer? Now, this is one area which we need to be very careful, because people are experienced, people know what to expect, people have got certain outcomes lined up, people have got certain perceptions, people want to gain actually something when they approach us or a training company. So when you talk about that, it all focuses around training need identification, the training need analysis, and then creating a module or a session or something which is very crisp and interesting in the best interest of the learners. So who is the target learner in the group? Are they age-wise, demography-wise, role-wise, location-wise, requirement-wise? So you'll be able to target the learner group, because you need to assign a specific requirements or specific indicators to develop that module. Like, for example, spoken English. Let us take the example of spoken English as a module. Now, when I'm going to do it with the primary children, it's going to be something very different. When I'm going to do it with the secondary, it would be something different. When I'm going to do it with the undergrad, it would be something different. When I'm going to do it with the postgraduate, it would be something different. When I'm going to do it in the adult level, where I have a mixed type of group, where we may have youth and you may have teenagers and you may have some people with experience and things like that, the learner group again changes, the demographics changes. So as per the profile, the curating is required. Then I need to give focus on the individual learner. There are 40 of you all connected to this platform, different ages, different topographies, different backgrounds. So if I need to do a training program, if I need to assign a specific module, I need to consider majority of your thoughts, ideas, insights, expectations. What sort of an outcome do you expect from the module and things like that? What sort of candidates are available for assessment? Now, when you talk about for assessment, a lot of assessments could be possible. Formats of assessments may be formative, maybe summative, maybe in different forms. It could be maybe based on case studies, maybe role plays, maybe discussions, maybe MCQs, maybe something like a TAT, that is known as not turnaround time. It is known as thematic appreciation test. I could show you a clip for about a minute, or I could show you a picture and then freeze that picture and ask you what you think about it. So basically, any sort of an assessment could be done using software or using, actual live way of assessment, the way it could normally be done. We need to understand what is the enterprise or the business. So according to that, the module format may change. thinking whether it's a small sector, medium sector, a giant, again, the industry, the domain, the functionality. Now, again, we need to understand a group training company. So are you a part of a group training company where you're doing it for another?
Sir, please speak slowly, sir. Please speak slowly, actually. It's very fast.
Okay.
Excuse
Okay,
me, sir.
Vikram.
I want to say something.
Yeah, please, ma'am.
Sir, your informations you are sharing are really interesting. The knowledge you are sharing is really interesting. But
Thank you.
unfortunately, we are in a habit of going a little slower. We all are in a habit of. So,
Okay, sure.
Please.
Sure.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Done. No worries. Okay, so when you talk about a group training company, what is a group training company? That means a group which has got different verticals, different functions. So you have a training company in the sense, for example, you have Tata Sons. So Tata Sons may have a specific section or a department or a unit which does multiple types of trainings for all other Tata companies. There could be specialists also who come into the system. There could be external consultants who could come into the system for an assignment or for a session or for a module. Now, again, when you're doing it for a government organization, you need to be very careful because the requirements could be very different as compared to private. The formats could be different. The profile could be different. The level of engagement could be different. The way the material is going to be discussed or explained, or the way how training is going to be done is going to be very different. Then you talk about internal clients. When you talk about internal clients are basically people who are known to us, who are actually either working with us or our subsidiaries or our support organizations or are certain people who are known to us. You could do certain assignments of training or facilitation for other organizations, maybe as a resource person, maybe as an expert, maybe as a training vendor. So in that case, again, doing a proper need analysis and doing a proper identification, understanding, maybe on observation, maybe on certain interactions, maybe sharing a questionnaire so that you're able to curate, develop and design a specific module for the benefit of every specific trainee or a person who's going to learn through that module. Now let us see how, I found this quite interesting. When you talk about who is the client, you need to understand who is the client. Age-wise, demography-wise, position-wise, type of company is working, what job role and whatever it is, Why is this training or assessment required? You need to understand the purpose of the training. Is it a regular exercise? Is it for a promotion? Is it for something where extra skills or new skills need to be imparted? Is it refresher training? Is it retraining? What is it actually? Or is it boosting of knowledge? Or is it enhancing of your attitude? Or is it polishing your abilities? Where is the location? Am I going to do this training at the source? When you talk about source, that is in the organization, or is it going to be a hotel? Or is it going to be in Goa? Or is it going to be in Chennai? Or is it going to be in Delhi? Where is the location? Depending on all those things, also certain training requirements may change. Now you'll wonder why training requirements may change. I follow a simple pattern, Jaisa Desh Vaisa Base. In the sense, you will perform the way the client wants you to do. So if you are in Delhi, you should do a training which is ideally focused on suitability for the Delhi people. If you're doing it in Bangalore, there might be a slightly different requirement. Now, this should be based on behavior, on perceptions, on the requirement, on various other factors, which you could actually do. You're not discriminating, but you could actually make the concept or module or the training more effective. What is the KSA or training required? Whether it is knowledge, skills, abilities, or the attitude. So actually you have to have a complete detail. When you spend in time on this, you'll be able to confirm and actually do your client need analysis in a proper manner. Client is nothing but a customer, whether he or she is an insider, part of my organization, part of my team, part of my group, or maybe someone from external. I need to work it in those manner. Now let's go on to this concept of facilitation. I've tried to put very simple terms and I will explain it and you'll find it very interesting. Facilitation, as per the Webster's dictionary, is to make it easy or less difficult. Facilitator is a person like you and me who can make the thing very simple and very interesting, very engaging and very involvement and very immersive for that matter. In the sense, a facilitator would give ideas, would give insights, would give certain suggestions, but the actual discussion, the actual work, the actual things which are going to do in the form of tasks or activities for that facilitation would be from the people who are going to be facilitated. Maybe the group, maybe the audience, maybe the managers, maybe the supervisors, maybe the people who are going to be facilitated or trained. Now, the Dictionary of Human Resource and Personal Management says it is the process of helping people to learn or achieve something. You basically want them to develop, maybe to find a solution to a problem without directing how to do it. In the sense, you have a problem. So the facilitator is not supposed to tell how the problem is going to be solved, but give ideas, create some sort of a response which will motivate the people to understand, discuss, deliberate, cross-fertilize their thoughts, and then come out with possible solutions, which the facilitator could actually moderate or debrief at the last. Now, Justice T. Jamieson in the Facilitators Field Book says, it is nothing but enabling groups to succeed. You have people, you've got different temperament, different mindsets, different thoughts, different ideas, different age groups, different backgrounds. So when you have a group of people, it's basically putting them together for the specific requirement and making them succeed together, to work on a common agenda, to work towards a specific directed goal. So that needs to be done in a specific manner. Now, this is another important, I picked up this image from the Google and I found it very interesting. Tips for effective facilitation. I'm going to share this with you, so absolutely no worries. It's going to come to you from the diploma office. So things like, your core skills. It's basically facilitation is helping someone to grow, helping someone to develop, helping someone to perform better, helping someone to engage better, helping someone to come out with a solution. So it could be maybe rapid generation of ideas, questions.
So it is not legible actually. I'm not able to read these words.
I'll be sharing this with you in any case, and the source has been given. So would that make it easier in any case? This is definitely going to be shared today.
Now, okay, sir. Now, okay.
Okay. So, here you'll need to, the four basic core competencies. If you could see these four core competencies, it would make it slightly easier. You need to ask questions as a trainee, as a learner. You need to paraphrase and understand what actually is required. Then summarize what action, because you'll be split into maybe groups or teams or, clusters or things like that, where you're going to summarize when you discuss, deliberate, collaborate, ask, maybe even, argue or something or debate on that. You will be able to come up to certain points which are relevant to the requirement of the purpose of facilitation. So you need to continuously encourage thought, a process of engagement, a process of developing and things like that. As a facilitator, very important. As a trainer also, it's very important. Knowing people by name. We do not use the principle of saying someone who's wearing a pink shirt, someone who's wearing a t-shirt, someone with a spec, someone like this. No, we will not discriminate. We will be diverse in the sense we will encourage the use of names. So when you saw in the beginning also, I tried to engage myself with some names. That's how the bond starts. That's how the engagement starts. That's how the rapport starts. To use names the way people would love to be, correct names or the way they need to be addressed. Like, for example, some people would have some sort of a salutation. So some people are happy using a salutation. Some people are not happy. If we are using a salutation, great. Like, for example, someone is a doctor, someone is an engineer, someone is something like that. If you're able to use the correct salutation, people would love to have that. The engagement tempo should be great, and in and out listening. Now, this is one area which I wanted to ask some opinions from you or some thoughts from your side. What is this in and out listening? It's a very popular concept and easily available on Google. What is in and out? See, when you're listening to me now also, your mind could wander a bit. Maybe you're at home, maybe you're in some other area. So you're not concentrating exactly. You may have some sounds coming from the road outside your house. Maybe you may have family members talking. Maybe you may have the phone ringing. Maybe you may have some family member asking you something from another room. So in and out listening would be where you tend to focus on receiving the information, understanding the information, and working on the information the way your mind is programmed to for that specific purpose. Facilitation is always for a specific purpose, for a specific area, for development, for improvement, for correction, for rectification. So it is more of an attentive listening, in and out, in the sense what is coming in my mind needs to be programmed in such a manner that it is very responsive, and it helps me to decide what I need to contribute, what I need to do, what I need to develop. So proper listening, proper responding, proper attention, and properly thinking with my mind, with proper attention in the given span of time to come out, because every facilitation exercise, whether it is in person or online, will have a time tag on it. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 2 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour. So within that time limit, you need to come out with ideas, discuss, deliberate, put it on a whiteboard, maybe put it on a flip chart, maybe write it on a notebook, and then discuss. So that finally, when the debrief takes place, it is easier to collate certain relevant things from different clusters, different teams, different groups, and come to a proper, appropriate conclusion. Key benefits to successful facilitation. Let us see the key elements to the successful facilitation. Facilitation is nothing but helping you to grow, helping your team to grow, helping someone to develop. Purpose of learning facilitation is to guide the learners to agreed upon destinations, which are the learning outcomes. What is the outcome? To develop better, to perform better, to get out of the tight spot in a proper manner, or to address the situation in the correct fashion, or to come to a specific conclusion. It could be absolutely anything. Most of the facilitation exercises would happen in the office level. Facilitation exercises happen outside also, but you'll normally be able to see facilitation as a pattern, as a study, as an exercise, as a training in the office or in the workplace. As such, a facilitation is nothing but a learning experience. It's like being a guide on a jungle safari. So if you've gone to the jungle safari or this lion safari or this, tiger safari and all this, the guide actually is very important. So he or she tells you where to see, where to watch, where you can see the wild animal, whether it's a lion, tiger, or whatever. He or she is able to make suggestions relating to the timing, relating to their habits, relating to their sighting, relating to what you should do and what you should not do. Taking steps to enhance the experience for the participants. So actually, as a facilitator, your experience, your suggestions, your crisp pointers would help them to go to the right direction. So keep making suggestions, but do not come to the answers. Give guidance only when required. But you don't do it for everyone. You just give the minimum possible, and let the facilitate people who are being facilitated develop on their own. So this I found it very interesting. It has been picked up from Macken. Now this is another interesting thing which I picked up from the facilitation handbook of Euphoria. I found this amazing. And friends, this is what all the training funda is all about, or what facilitation is all about. Till the time, I would call this as the hallmark of facilitation or training. I'm not going to dispute this with other trainers or other faculty members and things like that, but I found this amazing. It's called as a facilitation anchor grid. You could actually call it as a training anchor grid. It works perfectly. So the space, when you talk about considering the space, you need to understand the setting. Every training, every facilitation, whether it is online, whether it is offline, setting is very important. Who are the people? How many people? What are the age groups? What are the job roles? And the object of relation to each other. If you've got mixed people, different levels, different function, different job roles, then the relation is very important. According to that, you can devise or design activities. Environmental factors. Environmental factors are basically the type of light you use, the type of sound you use, the smell. Now you'll wonder what smell has got to do. Smell is also very important, because normally if you've seen, many offices would love to use a room spray. So when you use the room spray, sometimes that musty smell or a bad smell is there, a lot of odor is there, a lot of perspiration is there. Correct the balance of environment where you have the proper light, not too bright, proper sound, a proper smell makes you feel more comfortable to engage, work. Then you have the people. When you talk about people, it's basically the emotions, very important. People are a bag of temperament, emotions. Now, the moment you are having your emotions and temperaments, you could be angry, you could be frustrated, you could be eager, you could be excited, you could be depressed, you could be hungry, you could be, so many emotions could take place. So you need to understand and take care of the emotions. To a certain extent, you can tell people how to control and work with the emotions. It actually helps you to come to solutions or outcomes in a faster manner. Relations. Now, as a facilitator, you are a friend and someone who is maybe a philosopher, a guide, maybe a doctor, maybe anything. Doctor in the sense, not by profession, but you are going to do some healing. You're going to do some suggestions. You're going to do certain things in the benefit of the people. So near and far, you need to work for the best interest of the people whom you are facilitating. Involvement. How much of involvement? What exactly is the trigger to be offered? How much is to be told? And what exactly is the response expected from the trainees or the people who are going to be facilitated? Give minimum, get maximum. Whether it's on a whiteboard, whether it's on a printout, whether it's on a flip chart, whatsoever. Let the ideas come from the opposite side. Yes, Namrata. You raised your hand. Please go ahead. Namrata, I can hear you. I can see your...
Yes, sir. So just one little clarification again.
Please.
Relation, how relation is affecting? Can I get
relation in the sense, in case I'm your boss.
Yes, sir.
In case I'm your boss, then as a facilitator, I'll have, however comfortable, however good the relationships are there in between us, as a facilitator, I'll be more broad-based. I will be more focused on the complete group rather than concentrating on you, yes. Even though we may have, I might be your immediate reporting senior. So no partiality, no biases. It's going to be general. It's going to be, nice. It's going to be overall without any specific preferences or treatment given to anyone in the system. Someone else has also raised the hand.
Yes, sir. That's me, Kavita.
Yeah,
Once
please,
you're through with the slide, could you please tell us more about this Victoria Facilitation Handbook?
Okay. Fine. So involvement is in and out, and the process. When you say managing information, a lot of data is there. How much of data actually will you give out? As a trainer, you will give, Jasprit, I'll attend to you. Process. How much of data, how much of triggers, how much of specific requirements are to be given out in the facilitation exercise? It just needs to provoke or probe, nothing more. Managing the operations. Operations are basically everything which is connected to make this training session a success. So that's how we're going to operate. Managing the energy, very important. How is the energy? You need to have people excited, people working, people having the specific goals aligned, working on the triggers, discussing, collaborating, asking, conversations happening, and then coming to something ultimate in the form of a written document or somewhere where someone can express or create some sort of representation to what they have discussed. So I will just stop sharing and then yes, I think I saw some people raising their hands. Yes, Suresh and
yes, sir. Sir, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Suresh. Yes.
Yes, very nice afternoon, sir. So one of our colleague has asked about the relations. So during facilitation, just I would like to add, sir. So during facilitation, now how much we are getting connected with the participants, that is very important. That speaks on the relationship word. How much quickly we are getting connected with the participants. That helps in developing that relationship with the
Very true. Very true.
Whether
as a trainer, you're more friendlier. As a facilitator, you're slightly more generalized, and you give a universal approach by not being too personal, being more personalized.
Yes, sir. And the quick ways to get connected is starting with a story or telling examples in between which are related to the content, like that. As Saras told, the creating that friendly atmosphere, lighter atmosphere, those things. Thank you, sir.
Very nice. Very nice, Suresh. Very nice. Yes. Yeah. Yes, Jaspreet, would you like to add something?
Sir, your last slide says manage energy. So can you elaborate more on that?
Energy is basically the enthusiasm. So
okay. It's
about jokes,
about
videos, clippings, interaction, engagement, asking you questions, attending to your questions, I mean, whatsoever.
Sir, can I speak, please? Sir, it's more about trainer or the trainees, the learner?
Energy in the room.
Okay, it's include both.
Both.
So it needs to be channelized, right?
Yes,
In a
yes, Prasad.
Sir, you said about personal and personalized. These are different things. Can you just elaborate the difference between them?
Personal is, I know you, Prasad. We have been friends for 10 years. You come to my house, we go for parties. I'm your boss, you're my boss. We are friends. We share a lot of things in common. But personalized is where I give you respect, where I honor you, I listen to you, I understand you, but not being too personal. And I would say that all of you all are personalized. I mean, the connect is personalized to each of you because I don't know you, any of you as of now in this audience personally. Personalized is has to be some sort of a more formal engagement or something like that, So that's how it is.
Yes, okay.
Okay. Yes, Suresh? Or you want to,
yeah, completed, sir. Sorry, I will.
Okay, that's okay. That's okay. Okay. So can I continue? Yeah. Okay, types of facilitation. There are different types of facilitation. So we will try to see some at least, meeting facilitation, very common. The moment you put the word facilitation, it comes as meetings. And I think all of us working anywhere, any domain, any function, are very familiar with the word meeting. People say, let's have a meeting fast. It could be a breakfast meeting. It could be an in-between meeting. It could be some sort of a discussion, maybe a goal to take a decision, maybe to, resolve a conflict or share. So facilitation would be an ideal mannerism for connecting on those different areas to reach out to certain decisions or making a goal and things like that. So very commonly used. Next is a workshop facilitation, which is something like this, but the agenda will be more focused. It will not be subject wise. It will be more of, maybe a skill based or maybe a performance based vector, or maybe some sort of an indicator which actually requires a lot of participation, a lot of understanding, a lot of internalizing, maybe sharing of new ideas. So this is also involving a lot of brainstorming and things like that. The third is decision making. When you talk about decision making, it helps a group to take a decision. Suggestions are taken, conversations are enabled, and there is a structured pattern where you could involve people to answer, people to ask, people to talk. There could be a consensus building, there could be a problem solving, maybe a voting. This could happen online, this could happen offline, multiple things happening. Then you have the process facilitation. Process is basically related to a process. Any process for that matter has got certain steps or got certain phases. So we'll be able to analyze how to go about that process, how to make it better, how to identify something for improvement and accept change and implement the change so that the process continues without much disturbance. Conflict resolution. I mean, this is a common phenomena where people have a difference of opinion. People like to argue. People like to enter into a conflict, maybe sometimes for a positive purpose, maybe sometimes for just for the heck of it. So conflict resolution is the most common sort of a facilitation these days, where people tend to, get into an argument, get into a conflict, or maybe disagree with each other. So we need, as a facilitator, he or she will need to get into the mode of connecting with these people, making them come out of that problem by putting on certain things which are constructive and positive and acceptable to all sides. Team building facilitation. This is another area where it's very difficult. These days, when you talk about team building, teams, now the purpose of teams which was there earlier and now has changed. Now we have project-based teams, we have certain assignment-based teams, where you may have different people, different age groups, different functions, different job roles put in for that assignment, put in for that project, maybe just for that number of days, or maybe just for that number of hours, or maybe just for completion of that task or that project. So at that time, giving disregard to the seniority or the level or the status, everyone needs to come together. Facilitation here becomes more of a challenge. Why? Because of different age groups and things like that. A proper process of communication, proper type of collaboration, creation of trust, accepting of a junior's viewpoint, and going beyond the challenge, working with a common perspective is something what is expected. Now, this is the most complex facilitation. Whether it is useful or not, we will not discuss or debate on this. It's a challenge, actually. Thanks to COVID, we are able to pick up and use, but I still feel like many of my trainers still feel that physical interaction or in-person events or in-person training, in-person facilitation is definitely better, unless and until, of course, if there is no choice. If there are geographies concerned, if there are certain things which are concerned where we need to collaborate across, then it's okay. But otherwise, in-person and personal effects are always better. Digital facilitation is more on the using of technology for doing a lot of group activities and meetings. It would enable to connect, collaborate anywhere across the world at any time. Maybe use different digital tools like video conferencing, messaging, project management software, and things like that. What does the facilitation framework consist of? So what does it consist of? It consists of first thing, the first funda or the first skill for a good facilitator or a trainer is preparation. You need to do your groundwork well. You need to do your proper pre-preparation and preparation, content, research, multiple things you're doing to put into that specific session. That would be understanding, analyzing, knowing the needs, working out something relating to the outcomes of that program and things like that. So you need to know the objectives, maybe the participants, create a specific line of action or agenda which is to be done. The opening, how you are going to start, whether it's going to be with a brain teaser or maybe an icebreaker or maybe some sort of an activity or something nice and interesting. It may not exactly be part of the agenda, but something to put everyone in sync. Starts the session by maybe introductions, or maybe setting the tone, certain games, or maybe clarification of the objectives. Exploration. This is the most important part of any facilitation exercise. The level or the ground for exploration is to go through the process of exploring, understanding, working, finding out situations, finding out solutions, working on it together, generating ideas, gathering of information, and how to tackle the problem at hand. Decision making. Most important is.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, yes.
Sir, exploration goes before the training starts or like during?
What explanation?
Explanation, no, sir. Exploration, as per your
exploration. Exploration will always start once the facilitation exercise has been explained, or once the points have been clarified and they are put by the facilitator कि बाबा ये time है, ये group है, आप लोग अभी चालू कर दो, discussion चालू कर दो. So exploration will start at that time. Once the area is assigned, or once the topic is assigned, or once the level of activity has been explained. Decision making is to help with the making of decisions. Implementation is where You're able to develop an action plan and implement the decisions made during the session. And of course, the finale is the closing, where you'll be able to close the session by bringing out the results, clarifying the next steps, gathering feedback. Very important. Every facilitation session should have a debrief, or what is known in simple language as moderation. You may have views from 4 groups, 5 groups, multiple people, but bringing them on synergy, putting them in sync, pulling up the right and relevant things only which are useful, and connecting it with the objectives is very important. It's a facilitator's task of doing that at the end of every facilitation session. Facilitation is the art of unlocking the power of a group through dialogue and the pursuit of clarity, active participation, and the embracing of richness of diverse perspectives. It is multifaceted. So you're able to get different opinions from different people. So this is basically one of the best definitions by the international IAF, in fact. Do's of a facilitator. Facilitator behavior which is appropriate. What is good is very important. Make sure that your role is clear. You are not a boss. You are a friend. You are a philosopher. You are a guide. You are going to provoke them nicely and simply and in a good manner. Suggest the rules of the game. Maybe the time, maybe the triggers, maybe what is to be done, how it's to be done, certain ideas, and get their buy-in to support. Because normally understand the facilitation exercise would be from the top command or would be from the senior. So you'll have to follow a protocol, articulate the purpose and the relevance of each activity, proper instructions to be given. Be confident about the role and stay in charge of the process, because as a facilitator, we need to give the timing, give the instructions, share the triggers, share the indicators, share the format, how it's to be done, and then give them time to work upon it. Be responsible for the process, not the content. Do not give any deliberations or suggestions or enter into any discussions with any group, however close they are. Stay objective. Let it be focused. Let it be more broad-based. Let it be objective. Summarize, paraphrase, rephrase the status of the discussion to create a common understanding. You need to summarize and paraphrase and rephrase sometimes so that most of the groups or all the groups in that specific session are on one level of understanding. More asking, provoke, probe, make them talk, make the people who are in the training ask, rather than tell you're going to do this. So no Gyan Bhatna, it's going to be more of asking, and then you could actually write it down, or maybe you'd have some other volunteer who could come and write it down. Keeping a track of time is very important, involving all the people. Involve even the people who are not ready to talk, who are silent. Let them also put in their viewpoint. Attention to individuals, attention to group behavior, and remaining positive and smiling always. It encourages everyone and it helps spread the energy in the room. Don'ts as a facilitator. Dominating the group. Dadagiri karna, dominating the group. Please do not do that. You're a friend, you're a guide, you're a philosopher, you're a teacher, you're a trainer, you're a facilitator. Do not dominate the group. Pushing personal agendas and opinion as the right answer. However, whatever I may feel, or however I may be very close to what I would like to share, my personal agenda should not be shared as a right answer. Do not downplay people's ideas by trying to show someone down or trying to encourage someone because you like that person or something like that. Do not allow any inappropriate behavior. There could be some people who are bullying, or there are some people who are going to be troublesome. Kindly take charge. Continuously reading from a manuscript. You have a lot of people who just do a lot of reading. It should be viewing at times and then actually discussing. Static behavior. Be involved. Let's be active. Don't be passive. Be involved. Asking suggestive or cynical questions. Don't give out such a question which is going to give an idea for the answer. Be careful on that. You are a catalyst for discussion. As a facilitator, you are a catalyst for discussion. You enable transformation of ideas, opinions, and what do you desire? Ideas, decisions, strategies, without being a part of the conversation. as a conductor guides the participants. Conductor is a common phenomena which is used in orchestras or even in normal term where he actually conducts. So you're able to guide the participants, which is organically created, and help every individual to comply. Your efforts need to enable the person in the orchestra to create something greater than themselves in the interest of the whole group, for that matter. A conductor of an orchestra is something like where you synchronize all the musicians and you optimally guide the use of their instruments towards a desired result, a harmonic musical expression of the musicians' complex interactions, creativity, and exercise. A coach, you help the group form a constructive way of working together, identify the needs, wishes, and reach the outcome they would jointly like to achieve. Now I'll stop sharing and I can take in a few questions, or maybe let's interact, because it's almost nearing time up. I hope I have been able to क्या बोलते हैं उसको थोड़ा सा slow down, because some of them were very keen that I should be a bit slow. Of course, it will put me slightly behind as far as the schedule is concerned. So Manju is grinning to glory, so that's great. So I think she's accepting what. It's better, Manju. थोड़ा सा. Okay, ठीक है. What else? Yes, Anand, you got something besides the thumbs up. Yes, Jaspreet, that's nice. Your questions are coming through.
Sir, a little more means I would like to know about where you are associated, what you are currently
I'm based
doing.
at Mumbai. I'm based at Mumbai, and what else do you want to know about me?
Means what other means
professionally
assignments you are taking?
Professionally, okay. Okay. I'm basically, I passed out of IIT Bombay and I'm Lucknow, and I got 35 years of experience, worked in almost 17 countries. I was flying Air India. I do a lot of content development and a lot of trainings and facilitation for retail, hospitality, banking, finance, besides doing a lot of other, I have got some element of interest in the social sector also. So that's basically all about me. Almost 3.5 decades of working experience. So someone was there with Namrata to say hi. Okay. So fine.
Sorry,
I think
too much of maths was going on, so she got so bored. She came to
it's fine.
complain.
It's fine. I mean, COVID has taught us all to accept, so it's absolutely fine. So, so I think now we could actually, I think we are very close. If anyone has got a couple of questions, it's okay. Or else I will go offline, because you'll need to connect for the, you need to take a small break, maybe a tea break, and then go on to the last session, which is interesting. So God bless you all. Wish you all the best. Have a wonderful week ahead, and see you all